On this week's On .NET, I have my good friend Matt Lacey on talking about how to build .NET MAUI applications faster with the .NET MAUI App Accelerator. So tune in. Hey everyone, I'm James, and we're back with another On .NET talking about one of my favorite topics in the entire world, building apps faster. And I have my good friend Matt Lacey on. How's it going, Matt?
It's going good, James. How are you?
Oh, I'm absolutely doing delightful. It's 2023. I can't believe it. We were talking about just like leaving the house. And I said, we were talking about 2 years ago. Is it 3 years ago? Is it 14 years ago? I'm still in the same house. So haven't left. I haven't left in 4 years, basically, Matt. I'm just hanging out. That's it. How are you?
I'm good. I've had a good day. Very productive.
Yeah, it's good.
I've left the house twice, so it must be good.
And you're over in the UK?
I'm
Europe
in the
somewhere?
UK. Yeah, I'm in the UK in Lincolnshire.
Nice. Very cool. Now, some people may know you from being very active in the .NET community, but maybe people are brand new to Matt Lacey. So, Matt, who are you? What do you do? And then we'll get into the project that you've been working on.
So I'm a .NET developer. I've been a .NET developer since about 2003, which is 20 years now. That's shocking. I've done lots of things in the community. I've been a Microsoft MVP for 8 years, and I have lots of GitHub projects, lots of open source things, and lots of Visual Studio extensions.
Very cool. What was your first version of .NET? 1.1.0? Do you remember?
I remember when 2 came out. I don't know if it was if I used 1.0 and 1.1, and I got very confused about what managed and what unmanaged was when I first started C#. It was all confusing, but I think I understand the difference now.
Nice. Yeah, it only took 20 years, so we got it. Yeah. My first was, I got lucky when I joined Canon. I ended up, they had done the transition from 1.1 to 2.0, and we were then moving to 3.5, which was a fun exploration journey. So, but it's so cool to see, that in the years. Like, I actually look back and I think of the same thing with you. Like, my first job out of college was 16-esque years ago, and like transforming from what I was building then to what I'm building now is just kind of like mind-boggling, which is really cool. So, and the stuff that's happening in the open source, which is so rad. And you've been focusing in on helping developers build .NET MAUI apps faster. Do you want to talk a little bit about kind of how you got into .NET MAUI and this App Accelerator project and where that came about?
So I was building mobile apps in 2005, so way before it was cool, way before .NET did mobile apps, and I was doing desktop work when Windows Phone first came out. I was well placed because I knew mobile and I knew .NET, so I did lots of things there. I was early into MVVM Cross to Xamarin, lots of experience in those sorts of things. And then about 5 years ago, I got involved in a project called Windows Template Studio, which was about creating new UWP apps faster. And this is kind of an extension on that, building on that, what we learned doing those things, but now for building MAUI apps.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like maybe are we the same person, but in a different like time zone, because it was the same thing. I went to the final PDC. I was just telling one of my coworkers this, which is before build, and I got a Windows Phone. I mean, maybe you're talking about 6, but I got Windows Phone 7. And I was like, I'm already building WPF apps. I already know XAML. I already know MVVM. And then the company I went to go work for, I literally transitioned everything to MVVM Cross at the time, and then moved everything over to them. And then it's a wild journey. I just love hearing the stories that are so cool. Very cool. Well, I want to see it because I've got to take a peek at it. I got to play around with it, but you created it, so you're the best one to show it off. Do you want me to go ahead and bring up your screen?
Yeah, if you bring up my desktop, and hopefully you'll see something very familiar, which is Visual Studio. And this is the Create New Project dialog. So what you'll see is I've filtered down to just MAUI projects, and here at the top, MAUI App Accelerator with a nice little goat icon.
Now, is there a reason for the goat icon specifically?
So I noticed a lot of projects had like fun, cute animal icons, and I don't know how to draw, but then I kept abbreviating MAUI App Accelerator to MAA, and reading it aloud, it was meh, which to me sounds like a goat noise. So it's a goat. There's nothing in there other than that.
Fun fact, I had goats growing up, so there we go.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Little fun fact that the world just learned for the first time. Yeah.
James's farming background. Okay.
That's
so
true.
I've selected...
Yep. Perfect.
So I select the MAUI App Accelerator option, hit next, and standard next step in the dialogue, we can choose a project name. Call it My App for reasons. Choose where I want to go, give it a solution name. Everything's normal to now, but then I hit create and I get a new wizard appear. And this is the Maui App Accelerator wizard.
Okay, so this is completely different than anything that anyone would ever go through, because this is the stuff. This feels familiar to the Template Studio type of stuff, correct?
Yeah, so this is very much based on Template Studio. I reused a lot of the underlying logic there and some of the UI, and I've added a load of extra bits in just to make it work with Maui.
Cool, I love it.
So first question for any Maui app: do you want to use .NET 7 or .NET 6?
7.
And because we're new and modern, we'll use 7. Okay.
Yes, always.
At the moment, there's no difference in terms of the options that the wizard presents to you, but in the future there will be, because there are some things which are 7 only, such as maps, which will be coming in the very next version.
Cool.
So what we've chosen .NET 7. It's got a nice blue outline on it, and we can hit next. And now we're asked, what kind of coding style do we want to use? Do you want XAML and MVVM using the MVVM toolkit? Do you want to use code behinds? Do you just want to have, do events make more sense than commands? Do you want to put everything in the code behind file? Yep, fine, you can do that. Click on code behind. Do you not like XAML? Do you prefer to do everything in C#? We could choose that option as well. I'm going to stick with the MVVM toolkit option for now. We can hit next, or we can come over here and we can click on the next button over here, which is number 3 for our navigation style. Now, you probably want to use Shell for your navigating within your Maui app, but do you want to have a flyout menu with options on the left? Do you want to have tabs on the bottom or on the top, depending on which platform you're on? Do you want a Shell, but you don't want any of that? Or do you not want to use Shell at all? Well, let's stick with the default. We'll have a flyout menu for now.
Okay.
And now everything's just been select an option, but now things get different when we move on to pages. So I'll hit next again.
Yeah, and this is nice because ideally when you're starting your project, like you have some sense in your mind of like, what do I want? And then there are quite a lot of developers that one of the main, once you've been doing a lot of development, the main thing is like, just give me something that's empty, right? So, which, something I don't want to delete a bunch of stuff, even though the Maui templates are pretty minimal, which is nice, but this is cool. I like all the things. I'm a big tab person, myself. Most of my apps are, but not all my apps are. Every app is a unique butterfly, I say.
Yeah. So with that view of having a completely blank page in mind, by default, you get a single completely blank page. If you wanted, you could add in the default one as well, which is just down here as a sample. So it will show everything you're familiar with default templates. But as you can see, I've already got 2 pages in my app. And if I built with the default templates, I'd get 1 and then have to add everything in afterwards. But now I'm getting 2. And because I'm using MVVM Toolkit, I'll get 2 view models and they'll all be wired up as soon as I hit create.
Oh, cool.
So that's so I've added another page called sample. Let's say I wanted to add a list of something and be able to click on those things. As you'll see over here, it's created a list detail. But imagine I wanted an app with a list of something, I don't know, maybe a list of monkeys, just for a completely random example.
Makes sense to me.
So now my page is going to be called the monkeys page. The view model is going to be called monkeys view model, as you'd expect. And maybe I probably want to have lots of blank pages because I'm going to put the content in myself. But if I know a very sort of standard sort of thing, maybe I want to use a signature capture, so I could add a drawing page or something like that.
Draw a monkey page, I say.
You could, yep, absolutely. If I wanted a web view in my page, I could add a web view page, and that's going to be there. It's going to have a few buttons and some basic functionality all wound up already. And so everything I'm generating at the moment, all the strings are hard-coded, but if you wanted to know how to do localization in your app, there are at least 3 different ways. I can add a localization page, and that's going to show me 3 different ways of doing localization. So maybe you just want to experiment with Maui. Well, how does Maui do localization? Just add a page, and you're there to go. How does the localization work with MVVM? How does it work with C# markup? Just choose the options, and you can see what it produces. And then final tab, or the final stage, is selecting the features, and we got lots of features.
Whoa! Wow! Awesome.
So the Maui Community Toolkit option is already selected because it's used by my web view page. If it wasn't, I could come in and add this. So I want to use SQLite in my app. now I get it already wired up and set up for me. So it's added the NuGet reference,
Wow.
ready for me to do whatever I want to do with my database. So I want to use App Center. Now I've clicked on App Center, and it's going to add the two NuGet packages, and it's going to put some code in my Maui program page just to say, this is where you need to set your keys and things. Down here, some things you might recognize. I've got a few plugins I can add as a single click.
Uh-oh. I see two of those that look familiar.
Yeah, if I wanted in-app billing, I can add a reference to a library which you might know something about, which does that, and one which does prompts for store reviews.
Nice.
If I wanted to play audio within my app, I can use this library, which is created by Gerald and Sean. And if I want to add a test project to my app, I can just click here, and I'm now going to generate two projects in my solution, my app and one for my test, and it's all going to be wired up and set up ready for me to write tests. With that done, I can come along the side and I can see the options I've selected. I can see I've got my main page, which is blank, called main. I've got my sample, I've got my monkeys, all my features. I've got the licenses for all the third-party things I'm using. I can check those out if I want.
Nice.
Ignore that. That's my special button. So if I wanted to know more, I could click on here and be taken to the project page, so you can learn more about the project. If you want to make a suggestion, say, well, I think there should be plugins for X, Y, and Z other things, come over here, click report an issue, make a suggestion, add an issue on GitHub, and I'll see what I can do about adding those things in. And this is version 1.1.8. So this is my internal build at the moment, but 1.2 will be out shortly. 1.1 is currently in the marketplace, but let's hit create.
Nice. Yeah. And by the time you're watching this video, who knows what type of plugins and new things will have been added by this, which is the great part about as things evolve too. And that's really nice, because this is sort of what I'm sort of seeing here is that it's a blend of, here are things that are in the box, but then here are the things that are from not only the community, but also things that are, maybe from other companies too. Like I saw Sentry in there, for example.
Yeah, I have two lists. I have a list of public things that are on GitHub where it'd be good to add this, it'd be good to add this, and I've got my secret extra list of, well, I know all these people make these things, why don't we just put them all in eventually?
Yeah.
So maybe there will be lots and lots and lots of things in there in the future, and that would be good. So here's my solution. As promised, two projects. We've got my app and we've got myapp.tests.
Nice.
And so this is a test project, and to prove it's all wired up, we could just come in here, and it knows about my view models, which are in my main app. They're over there. So everything's wired up, so I can start writing tests straight away, because we're good and we write tests straight away. Of course we do.
Do we?
Tests are very important.
Yes.
And now you've got them in the solution. There's no excuse not to do that.
Exactly.
That's my hope.
When it's that easy, there's that. Ooh, I'm also seeing, by the way, I got to say, I see a nice, beautiful global usings file in both of these, and that makes me very excited.
So our global usings file has lots of things. So
beautiful.
Because we're using App Center, it's got the App Center usings. So the community toolkit things are in there. The things you might expect from within the application are there, and all the common system ones are in there as well. So you can have nice, small, short test files. Let's get rid of that test file. So over here, we've got a few more things that than you would see in a normal application. Let's start from the bottom. Let's start with our Maui program, because in here, it already knows it's using the Maui app, but it knows it's using the community toolkit. We're registering a bunch of view models and pages for our navigation. We've got some services for some data. We've got our little helper, our little prompt telling us that we need to add in our App Center sequence if we want to work with App Center. And we saw all those views and those pages, our view models and all those views, and here they are. So my view models are all in here. My pages are all in my views folder. And if we were to look at one, so this is my main page. This is the blank one, and it's completely blank. The only thing that's in here is it knows about the view model namespace, and it's been told that the data type it's going to use for your compiled bindings is going to be the main view model. And our main view model passed into the main page, all wired up for us, and the binding context set.
Very nice. And that means since we're using Shell, we're using this, we get the full dependency injection, inversion of control, all the constructor injection stuff is all wired up basically for you, right?
Yeah. And speaking of Shell, so we said we were going to use a flyout menu with some items listed on the left. Here they all are. So we've got our items, one for each page with a custom icon, just so you can see how to use custom icons. It's set up the routing, it's set up the pages to use. So what
Nice.
so there's an occasional bug, which sometimes means that checkbox isn't checked, but it is. So I'll just run this. I'll run it on Windows first. I'll tell you what. While it's thinking, here is a very similar app which I launched on. Oh no, not that one. The preparation I love. One of the probably this one. So very similar app running on Android. So I got a custom splash screen, which you get by default. And then here we see the menu options with
Cool.
different icons, just to show you can use different icons. And here's that list page, and it's going to load in some random content. So it also sets up things like pull to refresh. So it's going to refresh the content. If I click on this one, which is item 3, it's going to go to the detail page, and that is the item 3 detail page.
Oh, nice.
I can go back, I can scroll down, and it's going to do infinite loading for me.
Oh, wow.
All those sorts of things. And we can see, and obviously the sample page, the very familiar sample page, which you can click on a button. Here's the same thing which we just launched from our on Windows. So we've got the same options down the side, but now also here's our monkeys. It's called monkeys, but it's going to be the same list of numbers, just some simple randomly generated numbers. I can click on those as well and go back. Web view. So we see we've got some buttons all wired up to start with. It takes a moment to load because of Windows, but completely by chance, it's my GitHub sponsors page. We can come down here. We can see Maui App Accelerator, and this is the GitHub page for the project.
Nice.
And obviously the back buttons and the forward buttons work. I could open it in the browser. And my localization page, which has got 3 ways of showing localization, and the hello comes from the localization file each time.
Wow, that's really cool.
That's the general quick version. And obviously, just switch to a different Visual Studio, but it's nicely theme aware, so we can create another application. Or not. And we can look at some of these other options. So if I create C# markup, it still gives me all the same options for the navigation and the same options for pages and things. But if I don't want to use shell, which is the none navigation style, I can come over here and I get some different page options.
Oh, cool.
Because things like a navigation page doesn't work with shell, but I can use it if I don't have shell. So I could add my own navigation page. I could use a tab page. Again, doesn't work with shell, but can work on its own. So if I knew that I wanted to have a single page app, which was just some tabs, I could come over here, delete my default main page, and just use the tabbed page. And that's going to give me a 1-page app, no shell, and I can go and customize the tabs as I want.
Oh, very
The idea
cool.
is to give you as much flexibility as you would have by default, but also enable a lot of other things as well.
Nice. That's really cool. That's nice and flexible because, again, a lot of different people want to build applications in different ways. That's awesome. I definitely feel like this is like a good starting point for anybody, especially when you already have a few things in mind. One question is, once you've already created it, you can't go back and edit it, can you?
You can edit the generated app as you could any app.
Yeah.
So one of the things we have in Template Studio is the ability to add more pages and more things into an existing app. That will hopefully be coming at some stage in the future.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, you did show a little bit through the application that was running where people can go to contribute. Where can they go to contribute? Where do people get it from?
So let me just switch over to Visual Studio Marketplace. If you go to the Visual Studio Marketplace, either in Visual Studio, if you go to Extensions, Manage, and you can search there. If you search Maui, it should probably be the top of the list. Or you can come to Visual Studio Marketplace.visualstudio.com. Search there, it's Maui App Accelerator. Has my nice goat icon. It looks like this. If you want more than that, there's also the .NET Maui Essentials package, which is a bundle of lots of extensions, 3 extensions. It gives you the Maui App Accelerator. It also gives you Mads's inline SVG viewer, which is good when you're working with your splash screens and your icons and things. And it also adds this C# inline color visualizer. So if you're working with C# markup and you've got colors inline. Now, I can't remember what colors.firebrick looks like. It's some kind of red, but like Visual Studio gives you that little box of color next to color names inside XAML files or next to hex codes. It does that inside C# files as well. So that's really useful when I find that really useful when I'm developing for Maui apps. And if you want to go, so from the marketplace link, you can obviously get to the GitHub page. Here's the GitHub page where you can give it a star, raise an issue, and give me some feedback, suggestions. The code isn't all public yet. I say yet tentatively because I'm still trying to work out if I want to take the time to make it understandable to other people.
Gotcha. So here you can say, oh, I have this like really awesome package. I really think this should be in there. And then or you have different suggestions for what people could add, then you'll kind of triage them.
Come here, create an issue, upvote existing ones. And it's, I want a page that does this. I want add this feature, add this library. And I can definitely do that. What I learned from all those years working with Template Studio is the code is very complex. It's not easy to learn, and it requires a lot of testing.
Yeah.
All of which sort of combine to make it hard to just turn up and go, well, here's a quick little addition to do this.
Yeah.
So I can definitely add things that people request, but it's kind of the code's not good to come along and, it's easy to add things in because it's not as easy as we would like to be able to have it.
Yeah, there's a lot of source generation, a lot of things happening inside of there, which is really awesome. And then a lot of that configuration. So it's really cool to see not only just the start of it, but the mass amount of different things that you've actually integrated into it already, which is really awesome to see. So, Matt, this is awesome. This is really cool. I can't wait to install it, use it every day, and show it off in all my workshops.
Be brilliant. I have some other tools I'm working on, and one day I hope to have a version of your Maui workshop, which I can do in about 10 minutes.
I love it. Let's do it. I'm excited. Yes, that's very cool. Well, Matt, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it and showing off all this awesome stuff.
Thanks, James. It's good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I will put links to everything that Matt showed today in the show notes and also to the workshop that I talked about. So if you do want to start building Monkey applications, you'll be totally good to go. Well, that's going to do it for this week's On .NET. Make sure you subscribe over here on the .NET YouTube and check out all the stuff that Matt's been doing as well. Matt, thanks again for coming on. And until next time, this has been another On .NET. Cheers.